what's up, VC? It's Harmless Rebel, and it's time for another hard rock and heavy metal update. I got a pretty good mix of stuff to show here, so let's just kind of jump into it. Actually, real quick before we get started, in the background, we're listening to Dungeon. Dungeon's an Australian power metal band. They've been around since 94, 95-ish. If you're looking for really good traditional power metal, Dungeon's a place to go. They have a really good dynamic sound. It's not just, 45, 50 minutes of straight double bass. Just a killer power metal band. This right here is One Step Beyond. This is their third album from, I think, 2005. Killer, just definitely worth having. So let's just kind of jump into it. I'm going to start with a couple of new bands that most of you have probably never heard of before. As I've mentioned a bunch of times, I'm a huge fan of Brazilian metal. So let's go ahead and start off in that direction. Hell's Headbangers did a $6.66 sale on vinyl. I think it's still going on right now. They keep rotating in old stock. And I picked up a couple of 3 albums as part of that sale, which I'm going to show you now. First up is Breakdown from Brazil. Look at that album art. Isn't that killer? This was a limited pressing from, I believe, 2009 on Metal Inquisition Records. They only did 250. I love the artwork for this, though. Breakdown is a traditional Brazilian thrash, and what I mean by that is it's kind of a mix of Creator, a little bit of Sepultura in there. But what's really cool about this band is the vocalist. There's spots on here where he almost has a Lemmy sound to his voice, and it kind of gives a new wave of British heavy metal feel to this as well. So just kind of a really cool mix of sounds, and just a killer album. As a matter of fact, let me throw in a quick sample right here. And that was Breakdown. This one was recorded in, I believe, 2005, but wasn't released until 2009. And I was reading, the article from 2009 about the band, and they mentioned that they were putting out a new album, but I can't find any information that album ever came out. And from what I found, the band is no longer together. This one is a super interesting album. It's Brazilian thrash. But what's interesting about it is it's not a Brazilian band. So it's Força Macabra, Nos Túmulos Abertos. I can't remember how to say that the right way. It's kind of a mix of Sepultura, and there's one other Brazilian band, I can't remember their name, but it kind of reminds me of another Brazilian band too. But what's really interesting about this band is their finish. And the band liked Brazilian thrash enough that not only is their name and title in Portuguese, the entire album is. They actually learned Portuguese and did the entire album in Portuguese. This is released on Agipunk, which is a Brazilian label. That's the back cover. You got the inside right there. But I just thought that was really interesting. And this is the band's second album. This is a recent repress, but this originally came out in 1995. And it's production-wise, it's very dirty. I mean, it's very raw, and it actually reminds me of the late 80s, early 90s Brazilian sound. You know, in Brazil, most bands couldn't afford a high-end studio, and it's got that sound of a real low-budget studio as well. But I'll go ahead and throw in a sample of that right here as well. All right, there you go, Força Macabra. Next up is a Japanese band, and this one kind of shocked me. When I ordered it, it was listed as Japanese thrash, and it surprised me that I had never heard of this band before. You know, when I'm not even gonna say that, but. I know a good portion of the Japanese bands. I saw a good portion of them when I lived in Japan. Somehow I've never heard of this one, though. And being a fan of thrash, I was really surprised by that. And then I listened to it, and I realized why I had never heard of it. It's death metal, and it's very early death metal. This is a compilation of an EP from '91, a song off a compilation from '91, a demo from '89, a demo from '88, and then a live show in LA in '91. This is really, really early. I mean, '88. I mean, death metal was just barely popping up, you know. And this is a really good example of early death metal that still has that thrashy sound to it. This one also surprised me too on the production quality, because even in the late 80s and early 90s, most of the Japanese studios were really, what they were putting out was really good quality. And this isn't. I mean, this is really, really rough. I'll put a sample in here, though. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you're into death metal, and early death metal at that. So this is Necrophile. All right, and the name of this comp is Mementos in the Misting Woods, and they spelled mementos wrong. And they spelled it M-E-M instead of M-O-M. There you go, you can kind of see it right there, which I thought was kind of funny. Next up, I'm just going to talk about this real briefly because everybody and their mother has been showing this and doing reviews of it. Book of Souls from Iron Maiden. I was lucky enough to pick it up when Amazon screwed up the pricing, so I paid $13.95 or $13.99, whatever it was, for the album. Artwork-wise, I think it's Iron Maiden's best. I love this album cover. I love the artwork inside of it. The labels, they did such a great job on this. I don't think it's as great an album as everybody's making it out to be. I just think it's been a long time since Iron Maiden's put out a really good or a good album, and people are just kind of blowing it up. I'm not saying it's a bad album. A lot of people are saying it's the best album since Brave New World. I say that's not saying a whole lot. You know, most of their albums since Brave New World haven't been great. especially the Blaze Bayley stuff, but not even talking about that. Even the stuff with Bruce Dickinson. Each album's had a couple of good songs, and the rest of it was just kind of filler. This album's a little bit better than that, but it's still not even close to Brave New World or any of the previous albums before that. And what I really, the main thing I heard, and I heard this right away, is Bruce Dickinson's voice. I've heard nobody mention this, but he's really stretching to hit the notes. And a lot of notes he just can't hit that he used to be able to. And that was the first thing that stood out to me. Musically, it's a great album. But even the Blaze Bayley stuff musically had some really great songs. As a whole, though, I would say it's a good album. On a scale of, 1 to 10, I would give it a 6. And that's not saying much for Maiden. And I've given it a number of spins. I didn't want to talk about it prior to this because, a lot of people gave it one spin and they reviewed it, and everybody's excited after you hear it the first time. And something I've learned doing reviews for on and off for the last, 20 plus years is that you really need to listen to an album, anywhere from 3 to 6 times before you get a really good feel for the album. And I've listened to it 3 times, and there's a couple of songs that stand out to me, but as a whole, I just think it's an okay album, a good album. I shouldn't say that. That's it for me, though. Tell me what you think. I know that's going to upset some people. I recommend you give it a few more listens and then, comment on that. Next up, this is a really cool find in good condition. Normally I find this trashed. Deep Purple in concert. This is from 81, I believe. And from what I've read, it's bits of 2 different live recordings from the BBC. Really great performance. I would like to hear another version of it, though, maybe the UK pressing. The bass is really low on it. Other than that, though, amazing versions of each of these songs. Just a killer double live album. These next 2 are cool finds, too. I was really surprised to find them, and I got both of these for under $10. This first one is Draw the Line from Aerosmith, and it's a white label promo. I've been looking for Draw the Line for a long time. Even this one, as you can tell, it's pretty dirty. Unfortunately with Draw the Line, they use this matte finish, and it's hard to find copies in good condition. You can see right there the gold label promo stamp on it, and then of course the white label. The reason I grabbed this one, usually I wouldn't get a copy that's so dirty. The vinyl is mint, though. Looked like it was never played. And that goes for Rocks as well. I picked up a white label promo of Rocks the same day. This one's, the sleeve's in a little bit better condition, and again, the vinyl is just mint on it. And these are 2 of my favorite. We got a big discussion going on Facebook the other day. Rocks is my favorite Aerosmith album, followed by Toys. And then Draw the Line is a real close third. Next up, I've been looking for this for a while too, and I found a sealed copy. It is corner cut, but it's still a brand new copy. Heart Attack from Crocus. Everybody talks about their earlier stuff. I love this album. I like their earlier stuff as well, but this album just kicks ass in my opinion. Next up is another live album from Blue Oyster Cult. This is Some Enchanted Evening. This is actually my favorite live album from them. This was pulled from 2 live shows here in Georgia, one at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, and one from Columbus. And then also, where else? Atlanta, Georgia, the Fox Theater, Municipal Auditorium in Columbus. Let's see, Little Rock, Arkansas, and Newcastle City Hall, Newcastle, England. These are all performances from their 1978 tour. It's got all their hits, and they're done really well. Next up, this one's definitely not metal. They always get thrown in with that the metal hard rock grouping, which has pissed a lot of people off over the years, but I love this album. That's a self-titled from Tenacious D. I don't like anything else that they've ever put out since this, but this album blows me away. And I think Tribute is one of the most hilarious songs ever written. I don't care what anybody says. This next one was a really cool find. This one is a UK, I believe. Yeah, this is a UK single for Forever from Kiss. It's a gatefold. And you've got Forever and The Street Giveth and The Street Taketh Away from Hot in the Shade. And then on side 2, you've got the demo version of Deuce and the demo version of Strutter, which is really cool. And this is on Vertigo. But I picked this up on mint condition. I mean, the whole thing is mint. I mean, it's beautiful. And I think I paid $6 for it. Just a killer score there. So a nice new addition to the Kiss collection there. Next up, a nice addition to the Metallica collection. It's the UK pressing of Enter Sandman. And it's got basically the same cover as the Black Album. This has Enter Sandman, Holier Than Thou, which is an unfinished version, an alternate version. And then it's also got Stone Cold Crazy, which I love the Metallica version of Stone Cold Crazy. And then the demo version of Enter Sandman, which I could live without. This also is on Vertigo. You got the Vertigo swirl there. And again, this thing is mint. And this one too, I paid like $8 for. Obviously from the same collection as the Kiss album. I heard they had some other cool stuff from that collection as well. I just didn't get there in time to benefit from that. Next up, we've got early COC. This is Technocracy. This is obviously pre-Pepper Keenan. And this one is on Death Records. I love Corrosion of Conformity in pretty much every iteration. There's the Death Records label. Again, this thing is mint, perfect condition. I paid $13 for this. Most of these I've had for quite a while. It's been a while since I've done a video, and you know, I've just been slacking quite a bit. Next up, MSG from the Michael Schenker Group. Scott was just showing this one on Facebook the other day. The Japanese edition of this has a different cover, which I actually like a little bit better than this one. But this is their second album, I believe, from '78. Oh no, this is from '81. I thought this was earlier. But MSG from Michael Schenker Group. And the last album of this update is going to be Bootleg from Aerosmith Live. Man, I was blown away when I found this. I've been looking for this on vinyl for a while. This is another one that, because of the matte finish, it's always trash. All these spots on here, you know, if you're familiar with this, are actually part of the album. They want it to look kind of like a bootleg. There's a couple versions of this too. There's this one with this logo. And there's another version with the earlier Aerosmith logo. But this one is, like I said, it's in mint condition. It comes with this cool early poster of the band live. But just a great live set from Aerosmith. You got the collage there. Amazing album, though. I don't know that this is my favorite live album from Aerosmith, but it's definitely up there. But that's it, VC. Hopefully I'll do another update in the next few days here. I've still got a whole bunch of non-metal stuff that has just been accumulating over the last 3 or 4 months. It's my last non-metal update. So that's it, VC. Take care. Have a good week.